Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another Hack the Box series with Online Security. My name is Toby, and I'm going to take you through another machine today. This one is called Cronos. We actually did this last night during a live hacking session. It was pretty cool. This is definitely going to be in one of my favorite boxes that we've done this week, only because it forced us to use some skills that we haven't used in a very long time. And I thought that was pretty cool. If you'd like to join us during those live hacking sessions, just leave a comment below and we'll try to get you on with us. It's pretty cool, pretty fun. You're learning different things, learning how other people are thinking and how they get through their hacking challenges. And we all get to do it at the same time for free. So leave a comment below if you'd like to join that. We'll work with you to try to get you on those sessions. All right, let's go ahead and get started with this. The first thing we did was run our Nmap scans. We already have some that we did over here. Okay, and we got 3 good ports that we could have worked with. We have port 22, has OpenSSH. We have DNS running on this box and a web server. First thing we did was visit this web server. This web page, we checked out this web service to see what it was hosting. Before we did do that though, do take a look at what we did here. Ignore this part for now, but usually when we start out with a box, we always try to map it to a domain just to make things easier down the line. Sometimes you run into issues when you're just using the IP address and the system or Firefox is having issues trying to pull down the correct web page. So just a good habit. We'll explain how we got this later, but for now, this is when we go to the web page, this is what we're going to type in. So I'm going to just open that up. All right, that's the first thing we started out with because we saw that port 80 open. And when we came over to the web page, it wasn't too much to work with. Right, it's just a bunch of hyperlinks that are taking us to third-party websites, documentation on some things, documentation on Larcas, the news, Forge, a GitHub repo. I mean, from this we can observe that there may be some other web applications such as Laravel or Laravel. I've never seen this before. This is the first time I'm pronouncing it. All right, this web application may be on the box. Okay, so Laravel is a web application framework. Blah 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 blah. All right, then they have some other pages here. Nothing really useful for us. Nothing that we use to get any further from where we are now. So we pretty much a dead end. Even if we looked at the source page, there was really nothing in the comments that was going to help us move forward from where we are, which is why I like this box, right? Because it forced us to, just like any other box, it forces you to come back and reassess the ports here. It forced us to reassess this 53, right? There's a DNS server running on this box, okay? Or at least there might be. But how can we find out? Well, let's try to query it. Let's try to talk to that DNS service to see if we can get anything back. All right, so we'll just throw some DNS queries. Whoops, let's give it the right IP and see if we can get a name server back. Right, and we do. Okay, right, and with this name server, we can go ahead and you can see the name server is actually the DNS server we already saw. It's living on this system that we're targeting. So from here, what we can do is let's do, what was that name again? Let's go ahead and try to get a zone transfer, right? Let's try to do a zone transfer to see if we can get any other host names within that DNS zone. So what we're going to throw in is Cronos.htb, right? And then we're going to put the name server's IP address here, and boom. All right, this is why you saw the other domain in our Etsy host file. Okay, we saw that port 53 was open, right? Then we went ahead and started querying DNS for some information, and we were able to get the name server. Okay, so just in case if you're not familiar with the host command, this is another DNS querying tool. I meant to do host-h, but -l is going to do a DNS zone transfer for us. Okay, that's going to give us do the DNS zone transfer. You could try to use DNS enum, it didn't work for me. You can try the other DNS tools, it didn't work, but this host command did work. So, which once we got that DNS zone transfer back, if you're not familiar with zone transfer, it's just a list of other DNS entries from one DNS server going to another. We were able to retrieve that list of entries here, and it gave us this host. Okay, so if we go to this host, but before we go to it, before you go to this host, you do have to add it into your host file just as we did here. Okay, add this entry here into the host file. Then we can go ahead and hit that host. And you can see it's giving us a login page. Now, this login page, what we were going to do initially was just start running some password crackers against it. And we were going to do that. We were going to run the password crackers, but the first thing we thought would be quicker, or the thing we thought would be quicker to do, was just throwing some SQL queries in here. Right? Let's throw some SQL queries in here to see if it's vulnerable to SQL injection attacks. Maybe there's some type of database server that's sitting on the back end supporting this web service. Okay, I have a list of SQL queries that I use that I've stored from different boxes I've hacked, from Try Hack Me to DBWA to other Vuln boxes that I just have. So if I remember where it is, SQL. Alright, so this is the one I used here. I just switched Tom to admin. Okay, and I did go through, it's not like I just magically knew this was the one that was going to work. Right, I went through the list of queries that I have here. Well, I was going to go through the list. I just started with this one, and then this just happens to be the next one. Okay, but like I said, this is from a list of queries that I already compiled from previous engagements and different challenges. So boom, it brings us to this page here, which is an admin tool. Obviously, this is only supposed to be accessible to administrators, but it's allowing admins to run some troubleshooting commands such as traceroute and ping. Okay, if we go ahead and execute this, it'll spin for a while because it's getting the ping responses. Once it gets the responses back, it's going to spit it out to the screen for us. Okay, the issue with this is, at least from a threat perspective, it's not being properly sanitized. Okay, because we can go ahead and just throw in some commands here, like who am I, and it spits out the user. Right, so we could potentially, and we did, run some type of bash script to return a reverse shell. So before we do that, let's just start up a listener on port 4242, and let's grab a reverse shell from payload of all things. We're going to need to use a Python one because the other ones didn't work. The bash one wasn't working for me. I tried to use Perl, and this was the Python one that worked, I believe. we just need to go ahead and change the IP address from this to reflect our IP address, because we want to cache this shell. Go ahead and copy that. Go back here. I have it all in here now, right? The Python script. Here's the ping. It's going to try to do both. If we execute this, it's going to try to do the ping, right? Actually, I think when you have the pipe, it doesn't show you the output of it, but it executes the next command after the pipe, right? And it's doing that for us here, right? Just to see what I'm talking. Oh, crap. I accidentally closed out of the shell. Just open that back up. Just to see what I'm talking about, if we do a ping 8.8.8.8 and then a pipe here, this is going to only show us the who am I response. Right? Ping is probably happening in the background, but we don't see it because of the second pipe. Right? But if you did this, we should see both. Right, and I think, so you get the who am I output right here, you get the ping output right here. I think if you wanted to, on the box, the actual target in the back, you could do this, and it would work too. We did that yesterday, so just different ways. That's what's going on, right? You can actually test it out on your own box. So we have access to this box now. Let's go ahead and upgrade our shell. I'm tripping. Import pty.spawn and bash, boom. Okay, and cty raw echo fj. Alright, we just upgraded our shell. Now let's go ahead and do some enumeration. Right, if we do sudo-l, why are we doing enumeration? Because we're trying to find another vulnerability to escalate our privileges, right? We can't access the root directory with the account that we currently have. If I try to, you get permission denied. Okay, so what we did over here, just to fast forward, what we did was, is it still here actually? Let's see. We ran, since the name of the box is Cronos, we just assumed that there would be some type of cron job vulnerability. And there is. Okay, so we have to run it again. There is some type of cron job vulnerability here. I'll show it to you first and then we'll just exploit it. But the reason we found out was because we uploaded linps over to the box. Right, so I have linps here on my attacking machine. I'm going to start up a web service to host that linps file, and then I'm going to wget that down. Okay, here's linps right here. And while we're at it, what I'm going to do is, actually, we'll just do it together. Shemai plus x linps.sh. This is going to run, right? And when it runs, what we'll see is actually, let's exploit it first and then let it run, because letting it run is going to take some time. So what we're going to see is that linps is going to show us that there's a cron job running this file every minute. Okay, and we have access to modify this file. Okay, the cron job is running as root, and it's using PHP to run this PHP file right here. So all we have to do is create a PHP shell and rename it to what the cron job is looking for. So that's what we did here. This right here is a PHP one-liner that's executing a reverse shell. Okay, so all we have to do is upload this file. Upload this file over here so that the script or the cron job scheduler runs our script and not this original one. So what I'm going to do is rename that to backup. Okay, because we don't want them to run this. We want them to run our file that I'm about to wget. So now that's up here. What port was it listening on again? 443. And while we're waiting for that shell, I'm going to run linps now. Okay, so all we have to do is wait a minute, and this gets executed. All right, and now we are root. Who am I? We are root. Okay. Let's put this, let's leave it like that. So we are root now. Who am I root? We can go ahead and here's the root flag, right? And then for home, that user flag is right here. Let me see. So that's how we pop this box and get root. That's only because there's a cron job here that's running as root, and that cron job, here it is. Let's go down a bit. This is the output of linps that we're looking at right now. And you can see that this cron job right here is running as root. This is the file that's running. It's using, the cron job is using PHP to run the file. You can see the user that it's running as. And here, right here, are the cron syntax for every minute. All right, if you're not familiar with cron job tool. All right, so the first digit here is going to be the minute. The second is the hour, day, month, week. Okay, so this right here is running something at 4:05. Okay, 4:05 every day of the month, every week, every day. So it's running this every day at 4:05. I believe that's what it's saying. So when it's just a star, you're running this every minute. Okay, if it was a star 10, you're running it every minute past 10 hours. All right, but since it's running it every minute, all we had to do is change the name of it, change the contents of this file with a reverse shell, and we caught that back. All right, so the box was cool. What we should suggest to fix the vulnerabilities here would be, one, the zone transfers that shouldn't be allowed, right, to non-authorized parties. We shouldn't be able to get the zone transfer. If you try to do a zone transfer on NFL.com or ESPN.com, it won't work. You'll get it just won't work. You're not authorized. So they should disable that from non-authorized folks. Probably get some certificates installed on those boxes. DNSSEC. Another thing is the Sql Injection Attack. All right, we want to make sure that they eventually get some type of script that's going to do proper input validation, possibly a block list that's going to block certain characters, such as the SQL query we put in, or the characters within that SQL query. All right, and then finally, cron job. Right, this is how we escalated our privileges. In the future, what they should probably do is put this file here or any file root is using to run a scheduled job. put that in a directory that only the root user has access to. Otherwise, just disable or prohibit the root user from being able to write to schedule jobs. Okay, that way it would prevent users like us from running different files as root. Okay, so that's it for this box, y'all. Hopefully you enjoyed it. We will be posting a write-up in the descriptions if you like to read the write-ups. All right, that's there as well for you. Other than that, have a good one. Stay safe. Hold on to your loved ones. Give them a kiss. Make sure they know that you love them. And study, you all. Please keep studying. You're only going to get as good as you practice, right? Nobody comes to the court. Nobody goes to a game and just starts shooting the lights out, right? Even Curry had to practice. His shot is muscle memory now. We want exploitation to become muscle memory, secondhand nature. You want to be able to look at a box like this and feel comfortable attacking it, identifying its weaknesses, and then using the right exploits on those weaknesses. And the only way you're going to feel comfortable, because it's possible, but the only way you can feel comfortable doing that is by practicing. You got to practice, 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 practice. And essentially that's what we're doing on our live sessions when we're teaming up together to try to compromise these boxes. All right, so try to find some people to work with, maybe a study group. If you want to join us, feel free to leave a comment below and we'll try to make that happen. Other than that, you all take care, stay safe, and have fun. Peace.